It looks like Senator Josh Kaiser has been able to join us today. They adjourned on time today for us, and I appreciate that. Senator, it's good to see you. I want to spend a little bit of time with you. You are a freshman senator. You're one of the few freshman senators out there this year, and we wanted to kind of get your take on how it's been, but also on any bills that you've been pushing through. I know Medicaid and Medicaid expansion is something that, and basically just the overall welfare state in general was something that you're interested in reforming as well. But I wanted to get your take a little bit on the topics that we've been watching on this program today, that we've been covering on this program today, namely, protecting children from pornography, from inappropriate material. I mean, there's a lot of those bills that have been coming through the last couple of years. Where do you think we stand on this, where we can get more people to get behind some of these bills and stop the bad ones from getting through as well?
Yeah, well, that was a lot, Matt. Good to see you again. Good to be on here with you. Things move really slowly for a while here, and then everything picks up all of a sudden. It gets really busy, and it's hard to find some free time. So great to connect. But I do want to highlight some of the things you mentioned previously, like Medicaid. There's been some disappointments, like Bill 138. We would have liked to have seen that get through. I know that a lot of people were working on legislation to get it right. But I thought there was a lot of good in that bill. That's why I was a co-sponsor, and it's unfortunate that didn't get through. So hopefully this other one we passed, I think it was 345, maybe I know better. And there's a lot of good in that also. So hopefully that'll be a first step that we could build upon. But there's been some other great things. I know you were down here for the anti-mask bill that just got signed. So that was really a good victory. I think we also did a pretty significant tax cut this year. So there's been some good. I'm hoping to see the chicken bill get through. I wouldn't have thought it would be so controversial, but I think it's appropriate. I know our President Trump had tweeted about the need for families to be able to raise chickens at home. So hopefully we see that cross the finish line. Perhaps not, but another good one I think is the Medical Freedom Act that Senator Dan Foreman brought through on the Senate side. So waiting to see what'll happen with that. But I'm not familiar if we have any current legislation maybe you've seen regarding pornography or access to pornography with children. Is there something that you've seen come across the other side of the rotunda?
Yeah, we covered a bill this morning. It actually died in committee, and it was a bill that we've seen a few times before. Senator Cook presented a bill that would make the manufacturers of smartphones and tablets install a filter that could be enabled at the point of sale so that parents can give their child a phone. And the argument was that that won't do enough. If you want to protect children from pornography, you can't just put one filter on one app and think that that's okay. So that's the position that we took over here, that while the intention was good, it would probably do more harm than good by giving parents a false sense of security. But you won't have to worry about that because the bill got killed in committee. So that won't you won't need to take up your day on that.
Oh, sure. Yeah, oftentimes you see, we used to always say the Marine Corps, good initiative, bad judgment. I think that it's appropriate that sometimes legislation gets through really slowly so that we can get it right. I think there's a tremendous responsibility when making laws, and it's tough to delve into that area of holding the manufacturer liable for something that the parents can do at home.
Yeah. But let me. We only got you for a few more minutes, and I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you. You ran your election. You ran against Senator Chuck Winder, who was the pro tem of the Senate. And that's the leader of the Senate for those who don't know all the Latin language out there. But because you defeated him, that obviously upended the leadership in the Senate. And now we have the pro tem Senator Kelly Anthon, and we've seen, like, for instance, we've seen a lot more bills come through the Senate that normally were blocked by Winder and maybe folks that were close to him in leadership. So A, thank you for running. But B, once you got there, what was the attitude like from the folks that worked alongside Winder? I mean, you were the guy that took him out. I mean, you didn't replace his position, obviously, but
sure,
you certainly caused the Senate to restructure itself.
Right. It was a very significant race, never happened in Idaho history. And I think that it created a lot of opportunity for others to step up into a leadership role. Obviously, we had to select new leadership. And I think that Senator Anthony and others on the leadership team have done a terrific job. As you mentioned, a lot more bills are being heard. I think there's one of the terms I've used for months now is that there's been a lot more unit cohesion. I think that everyone is excited with something fresh, right? When you have turnover, it allows an opportunity to tackle some complex problems that we've had here for a long time, but with creative solutions for that. So I think that we've got a good team right now. We always have some hiccups, and there's always something to complain about, obviously, but I think that we've done a lot more good than anything else, and there's still a lot to be excited about. So they've done a terrific job. I'm really excited to be working with them, and there was a sentiment that there was a different version of Senator Winder here in his last year or two that created some tension unnecessarily. And I think that some of that now has been cleared up. And, I wish him well. I've only ever had very amicable interactions with him, and he did a terrific job and did carry quite a legacy among some of the colleagues here. But it's been very good thus far.
Good to hear. Yeah, we want to make sure that you're successful there. As you head into the final weeks here, is there anything that you have under your belt that you're trying to champion through that we could help, that the audience out here could help get behind and give you some support?
I appreciate that. I've been taking primarily a crawl, walk, run approach. It's a new field that I'm getting into, and I try to see how everybody kind of plays at the poker table, if you will. So I'm carrying a few items. I think I have two things left that I'll present on the Senate floor, House Bill 199. That's what was initially moving a rule into statutes that's related to Refugee Medical Care Act. During their analysis of sort of trying to do a DOGE agenda, we identified that there was a little bit of a discriminatory disparity with the refugee medical program that allowed the refugees to qualify at a higher income level on the federal poverty guidelines at 155% or 150%, excuse me, as opposed to 133 like the rest of Idaho. And so in moving that rule to statute, we just changed that small detail. And so that'll be something that'll come across the Senate floor. Again, very minor, but in that program, it was costing $1.1 million just to issue about $200,000 in medical costs. So identifying areas of waste, that would be a program that we wanted to fix. So that's something. And the other thing that'll be coming across, I just introduced at a print hearing on behalf of a constituent, was related to planning and zoning specific to homeless shelters in Boise. In any city, primarily the constituents of Boise resident, but this would be related to populations of 100,000 or more. And so that'll be coming across as well in a hearing pretty soon. But otherwise, things I'm excited about, I already mentioned, like the CHICA bill, like the Medical Freedom Act, and some other things. But
great.
Yeah, we're coming. We're almost done. Hopefully only a couple more weeks here as opposed to, summertime. But
yeah. And then the off season, you regroup and so forth. Yeah.
Right.
All right. Well, folks, Senator, thanks for joining us. Where can people follow you and keep in touch with your work if they wanted to reach out?
Sure. I have contact information for here at the Capitol on the legislative website, but I'm also on X and Facebook. So anyone can follow me there.
All right. Very good. All right, Senator. Well, thanks for taking the time today. Enjoy the rest of the afternoon.
Thanks, Matt. Keep up the great work. Appreciate you.
It.
Cheers.
Yeah.